That's a check one, that's a check 1, 2, that's a check 1. I'm sitting in the chair now. That's a check 1, 2 there, Johnny. Johnny 6, you coming in, Johnny 6? Johnny 6, you coming in? Come on, Johnny 6, cut around, Johnny. Johnny? It's not funny, Johnny. You know there's monsters out here, Johnny. It's not really fun, okay? You know I've lost other cameramen, right? Johnny? Man, do I have to do this myself again?
Train the muscles, not the joints.
Welcome back to Natural Gallant Bodybuilding. Yes, Gallant is my last name, and I am Jason Mountain. So today I'm going to talk to you a little bit about volume versus intensity. And I have some people that email me once in a while, you know, about my workout programs and stuff, and they see that I prescribe certain rep ranges for certain exercises. For example, somebody will say to me, hey Jason, I see that you prescribe 13 to 15 reps for 3 sets for this one exercise. How do I pick the weight? Do I just stop the exercise at 14 reps if I can get 20, or do I do as many as I can do with a certain weight and hopefully I fall within 13 to 15 reps? Anyway, you get the point. What I mean when I prescribe a certain rep range, for the most part, is that you're hitting positive failure, meaning you don't feel like you can do another full rep. So, you know, say you're bench pressing 13 to 15 reps and you get rep number 13, then your 14 goes up, and then you're like, okay, there's no way I'm gonna be able to do 15, so then you just rack the weight, right? That's what I do. That's what I prescribe. And if you cannot do another set, or you don't feel you could do another set with 13 to 15 reps with that same weight, then just lower the weight so that way you can stay in that rep range. Now, this is one way to train. It's not the only way to train, but it is an intense way, and it does give a certain type of stimulus to the body, and it's really the failure type of stimulus. Now, does that mean you're supposed to go to failure all the time? No. Does that mean that volume, just for the sake of volume, like say doing 5 sets of 10 reps is useless? Of course not. No, I mean, these are useful sets too, but one could argue that they stimulate the body in a different way. And for bodybuilding reasons, you may not necessarily get the same results, right? But you will get good results for strength, but you might not necessarily get hypertrophy results from that. So for this reason, if I say intensity versus volume, volume still has its place. Doing high amounts of sets within a prescribed rep range, say you want to fall into the 10 rep range, right? And you're trying to do 10 sets of 10 with a certain weight. Well, if you're doing 10 sets of 10 and you're going to not be going to failure, chances are you have to lower that weight significantly than, say, doing 10 reps to failure. So for instance, you might be able to do 200 pounds on the bench press for 10 sets of 10 reps. But if you do 245 on the bench, maybe you could do 10 reps for that first set, but then the second set would go down to 9 reps and you'll get less reps further down the line. So you wouldn't even be able to get close to 10 reps on the 10th set. That's because you're hitting failure in those first sets. So the standard powerlifting technique or volume technique is to use a weight that you can comfortably perform those 10 reps right up until the last set, and then there you might struggle for that 10th rep. So it's almost like you're constantly saying, I just want the body to be stimulated within a certain time frame. So performing 10 reps might be a 20-second set. Let's just say it's a 20-second set to 25 seconds or so, right? That's in a very anaerobic window of lifting weights. It's very anaerobic. Whereas if you go to failure, you're also accessing or stimulating energy production and so forth. So there's more of a failure of the nervous system that goes on. There's more of a failure of the energetic system where you are not allowing those things to happen when you're doing 10 sets of 10 of lighter weight, because you're allowing yourself to just get used to lifting this heavier weight without straining anything, without making the energy system the weak link, without making the nervous system the weak link. You're really refining that groove. And also you are, one could argue, working the tissues harder, at least some parts of the tissue harder than say going to failure and then running out of energy long before you can push those tissues deeper, right? And some people call the volume training German volume training. And there is some usefulness to that because again, you may be pushing certain tissues to break down more aggressively than say going to failure and then running out of energy and you just can't perform any more of a workout because you don't have the energy to keep on going, right? So I feel that both ways of stimulating the system are good. One is just different than the other. So I feel you can mix this up. You could do some volume training sometimes, and then you can do some intensity training sometimes. But just know that when you're doing volume and you're doing lots of sets, you know, you can overtrain that way, just like you can overtrain with intensity. And there's going to be different ways of adjusting to make sure that you're not overtraining, right? And you'll feel it when you go to the gym, you just feel totally burned out. Like if you lift a weight, it almost feels like you're getting the flu, right? Immune system wise. So you know that your body is behind on the recovery, right? So you don't want to push it too hard. So for instance, a way of not pushing it too hard with volume training is maybe you need to back off on the weight that day. Or maybe you need to take the day off, right? But maybe you could do 10 sets of 10 for 205 on the bench or whatever. And then one day you go in the gym and you feel burned out. Well, then maybe back off on the weight. Just do one plate aside for 10 sets of 10. You know, that would be a way of addressing the burnout issue. And then the next time you come around to your volume training workout for chest, then you would go back to your normal work weight if you feel better, right? I guess what I'm trying to say is open your mind to both methods. They're both good. They both are just challenging the tissue in a different way. And I found that messing around with this, messing around and experimenting, kind of like you do with recipes when you're cooking, right? You know, put a little pepper, a little garlic, a little bit of salt, you know. By messing around with these parameters, you start to find how your body seems to adapt. And you may notice that by doing a volume day and then doing an intense day the next time you come around to that body part, it might be a neat way of just hitting certain tissues in one workout and then hitting different tissues in another workout. Both methods are right, but you're hitting synergistically different tissues and different systems, and you may get a massive synergistic effect from that. So yeah, this is something for you to think about anyway. So anyway, my program's on my website. I will tell you, go to failure, right? In the program, the rep ranges are always to failure, unless of course I otherwise say in writing, I say do not take these sets to failure, because there are some strength sets in my workout programs where I say do not take these sets to failure. I want you to fall within this rep range and maybe have 1 or 2 reps in the tank left over, right? So I say specifically when I don't want you to hit positive failure. So I hope that clears it up. Cool. Right on. The point is, you don't have to die every time you go to the gym. All right? Like, what's the point of that? You don't have to kill yourself in every single set. I mean, because if we're going to talk about failure, what is failure, right? I know I'm talking about positive failure, but you know, some people misunderstand that whole failure thing. They're like, what is failure? Failure at life? So I got to die, Jason? Is that what you're saying? I have to die during the set in order for the set to be effective? No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying that, but for some reason, some people seem to think I'm saying that. They're saying, hey, failure, that means I have to collapse with the weight on me? No, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying you have to collapse with the weight. That would be a bad type of failure. So don't do that. Mountain. So that's what I have to say today. You don't have to die in order to train. You don't have to die to get results. You just have to use some common sense, I guess, whatever that means. So thanks a lot for watching. If you need to get a hold of me, just go to naturalgalantbodybuilding.com, and thanks to the Patreon supporters, and take care for now. It's still scary filming out in this forest because there are some monsters out here. Monsters who used the 2-day split and then went on to the high frequency program. How about next time I watch the video and you come out here and film instead? That's what I'm gonna do. I think that's a fair trade. I think that's reasonable. I don't think it's reasonable that I have to sit here and endanger my life just so you guys can get better at working out. Doesn't really make much sense, does it? No. So I think next time I'm going to be in that comfortable little seat you're sitting in, watching the video, and you make the video. That sounds like a better deal to me. Mountain.
But I can't.